We have special guest Emmitt Matthews Jr. joining us today, all the way from Tacoma, Washington, man. Standout West Virginia University basketball player. But, you know, we're going to find out more, and you can hear from him himself. So welcome to the podcast, Emmitt.
Thank you for having me on here.
Hey, thank you for coming for sure, man. And, of course, West Virginia fans, WV fans, and college basketball players, they definitely know who you are and familiar with you. But for those who don't, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm going to be a junior this upcoming year. I'm from Tacoma, Washington, as you guys heard already, way out West Coast. A little bit about myself. As all basketball players, I like to play video games. That's pretty much what I do in my free time. 2K, Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever you name it, I'm on it. So, that's pretty much what I do in my life outside of basketball. But, other than that, on the court, I try to keep it pretty serious, and I just want to win all my games. So
that's solid. Cool. And what was it like growing up in Tacoma?
Rainy. It was pretty rainy, but I mean, that's pretty much what people expect. One thing I will say though is it's not as rainy as everybody thinks it is. I think in Morgantown, my freshman year, I had an Uber driver, and he told me that he has like this rain meter that he put into his lawn, and he told me there was one other place that rained just close to Morgantown the year before, and it was Tacoma, and I just acted like I didn't know what he was talking about. But I grew up. I think my family's, I have a great family, and they raised me the right way. I try to make the best decisions for me growing up, and I feel like ultimately that brought me to where I am right now.
And in Tacoma, man, I mean, one of my favorite players is Jamal Crawford. I know Muff likes Nate Robinson a lot. Avery Bradley, IT. I mean, we could go on for days, man. I feel like the hoop scene is really underrated in Tacoma and Washington as a whole. Do you feel that way?
I totally feel that way. I feel like, guys like Jamal Crawford, I mean, even Brandon Roy, you got guys like that who go down as, for us, we look at them like legends, and for anybody else, they might be, just some guy that played or nothing. But when you look at the stuff that Brandon Roy's done, or you look at the stuff that Jamal Crawford's doing at the age that he's at, which he should be on a team right now. Isaiah Thomas being that small and playing that way and being able to get in the MVP race at that height. There's a whole bunch of hoopers from here. We got Zach LaVine, we got Kevin Porter, this is rookie year. So I think honestly right now the hoop scene for us is just blowing up more and more. We got the number one player. For me, I'd say he's the number one player in this upcoming senior class. Paulo Banchero. He's like 6'10" wing. So I think, just the culture and the hoop scene out here is, it's second to none. But I just feel like, now we're starting to get that microscope on us, and everybody's starting to understand that, okay, you go to the Pacific Northwest and get that talent.
Who would you say was one of your favorite players growing up?
My favorite player growing up, I mean, I'd obviously say like LeBron. That's my favorite player at the moment. But, when I look at, the way I play and, trying to like resemble my game as somebody, the person that I like to watch probably the most is Paul George. Just because I like the way he's 6'8". I watched him play at the Seattle Pro-Am, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And as soon as I saw him dribbling the ball like that at that height and jumping and shooting and doing all the stuff that I wanted to do, I kind of just fell in love with his game, and that's something I eventually want to get my game to, is just playing just like him.
And speaking of, like some, pro ball in Seattle and stuff, we've been talking about The Last Dance a lot lately, which is number one, just bringing back a whole bunch of just good memories. But like, seeing Seattle in the finals and everything, did that make you think, dang, I really wish we still had a team up here?
We had a team. If they got a team up here and, God willing, I get to the NBA one day, I'll take whatever pay cut just to play. Whatever pay cut. But no, I think Seattle has some of the best fans. I think Washington in general, all of our professional sports, we got the Sounders, we got the Storm, it doesn't matter the team, we pop out and we show out well. And I think, I just, when you see the Seahawks and all the sound records that they've broken and at CenturyLink Field and all stuff like that, you kind of just see just the support that you get from the area. And it's crazy to see, like, there's a lot of guys that grew up in, in Tacoma or Seattle, and now they're playing for the Seahawks. And, you don't really see that much, but now you're starting to see it a lot. And I think it's pretty crazy, but, you love to see those guys come back. It means a little more to them when they come back and they're playing for their home state. And they just want a little more.
Give us your thought real quick on The Last Dance. You've been enjoying it?
I've enjoyed it. I think for people my age, I feel like it's it's just to learn, like it's for you to learn. You know, a lot of us don't know the ups and downs that Michael Jordan and the Bulls had, and we don't understand, you know, what all went into him and why he is the way he is and why he did the things that he did. You know, I think just watching The Last Dance and being able to sit there and them telling us all the stories about, you know, Rodman going to Vegas and, you know, learning stuff like that, you know, you kind of just embrace it and you take it for what it is. I mean, yeah, a lot of people call him the GOAT, and, you know, that debate is a whole another topic, but you know, it's just good to see. It's just good to see that. And, you know, I think at the end of episode 7, when he got emotional talking about the way he plays, is for me, that kind of just, that struck a deep spot for me, because, you know, when you see people that kind of just don't care for basketball, or, you know, they play, but they're just playing because they have a chance to go make money and they don't really love the game. Yeah. You know, that's kind of what you feel when you hear him say the things that he said. And I feel like that's why he got emotional saying those things, is because, you know, he knows that there's dudes out there that don't really care, or, you know, there's dudes that are just out there for the money, when he was out there playing his heart out, because that's just who he is.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially if you like really love something, you dedicate your time to it, like whatever's going to come to you is going to come to you, but you got to perfect your craft first, for sure, 100%.
Exactly, and I think him and Kobe are the focal point of perfecting your craft. So
100% agree, man. Muff, it's Day One Lifestyle Friends of the Podcast. We got Emmitt Matthews with us today, man. you know, we had to start him off a little soft right there, but you know we got to get into Emmitt Matthews, man. And, you know, just backtracking just a little bit, going back in the time warp, you know, you committed to UConn. We know what kind of happened there with the coaching and everything like that. You opened up your commitment again, and you ultimately signed with Coach Huggins and West Virginia, and we're glad you did. But can you tell us what made you ultimately decide on picking WVU?
Well, I think I've said this story a few times, so I never really got down deep into it. I went to Under Armour All-American Camp 2 years in a row, and my last year going, that was when Jordan McCabe hit the Under Armour circuit scene. So he got invited to the Under Armour All-American Camp, and oddly enough, my last name's Matthews, his last name's McCabe, and usually the way they do it is if you have another guy from your team, they'll put you in their room. And so I had a teammate that was with me, and he had a teammate that was with him, who was Jalen. I think his last name is Johnson. He's like the #1 player going to Duke this year. But so it was funny because Jordan was my next door neighbor in the dorms down in North Carolina, and we happened to be on the same team. And like from then on, if you know a little bit about his background, he grew up a little bit in Seattle, and he spent probably three or 4 years over here. And I never really knew the kid back then, but you know, when I get out there and he throws me the first lob, I was like, it's that Tacoma Seattle connection. He was like, what? And I was like, it's that Tacoma Seattle connection. And after that, like, he was telling me I'm going to go to West Virginia, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm thinking like, okay, I want to stay closer to home, you know, at the time. And then right after that camp was over, he made a few phone calls, and I think like 3 or 4 days later, I think I got an offer. And then, you know, WVU was always around, but for me, like I took my first visit. So it was crazy because UConn was my first visit and West Virginia was my last. Oh, wow. And the coaching staff Jordan kept telling me, the coaching staff kept telling me, don't commit anywhere until after you take our visit. Like, if you just give us this visit, we'll prove to you, you know, that you should go here. And I took my visit to UConn, and I fell in love with the place, and then I committed, and then things went haywire. And then the first day after I got released, Hugs and Coach Martin flew out for a home visit. And after that, it was pretty much a done deal for me.
It's over.
I mean, when you got Hugs walking in your living room and you're sitting there like, whoa, this is not real. He's in my living room, and my grandpa's sitting next to him. My grandpa's like losing his mind. And
oh, man.
You're sitting there, you got Hall of Fame coach. My grandpa's like hassling all day. He's like, what should I cook? I'm like, dude, try to be regular. Don't even sweat it. He's normal, you know, he's not going to bite you or nothing. Just relax. He's like, all right, I'll make like some pasta for him. So
that's funny.
You know, just him coming out here and the coaching staff, you know, just showing that, you know, they really wanted me. And, you know, I honestly think it's just for them to fly all the way to Washington for just a kid from out here. And it just goes to show how bad they wanted me to be a part of their program.
That's cool, yeah, and I feel like, you know, just like you were talking about earlier, like Seattle, they're behind, you know, all their sport teams 100%, and I feel like West Virginia is the same exact way. You know, they don't really have any pro teams there, so everybody's at the football games, everybody's at the basketball games. Like, what was your first experience, like your first game, your first like just moment, like, wow, I'm really here in Morgantown right now, way far away from home?
I took my official visit in the springtime, so there's no sports going on. It was right after the basketball season, so the guys were all about to head home for a little bit. And so my first football, I think it was a home opener for football season. I got down on the field and I was just like, oh my God, this is I've never been to a college football game before ever. Like that was my first one. And I was just on the field looking up, sold out. I'm like, they're playing some terrible mid-major team. Like Will Greer about to throw for 700 yards. And I'm sitting there looking at all the people sold out. And then I walk past the student section and we're walking up and everybody's like, Emmitt Matthews, Jordan McCabe. Like they're yelling our names. And I'm like, I've been here for 2 weeks. Like they know my name. So that was probably my first experience. But I think the game that I probably enjoyed the most was Texas. Texas this last year. It was just, I mean, even though I think we lost, I don't really remember. Yeah. But it was packed. It was just the fan. Like after being here for a year, everybody kind of knew who I was and everybody running up, taking pictures. Yeah, I was in the middle of the student section, just having fun with everybody. Once I got more comfortable with how everything goes over in Morgantown, I just kind of let loose and just started having fun. So I think that was my best experience.
All right, so let's talk a little bit sophomore year. I don't want to harp on it too much because, like I said, I mean, we're really looking forward to next year, and I can imagine you are already too. But game one, man, we got Akron. I think you had like 13-7. Nice stat line. Game two, I'm up in Pittsburgh, so I'm like, I got to go to the Pete. I got to watch you guys play Pittsburgh, right? I'm up there, and I'm sitting next to some Pitt fans. And I'm talking back and forth with them, just a nice civil conversation. They're telling me who I should look out for on their team, Xavier Johnson, you know, Trey Wood McGowan was there at the time. And we're talking back and forth, and they're asking me, who is the go-to guy on the team this year? And I'm like, man, I think it's by committee, but I mean, I'm figuring out. I'm still trying to figure out. I think you finished with 17-8 that game. And I looked over to the guys and I said, look, man, I know Oscar. He's a workload down low. He was getting boards. I loved Derek's game too. You know what I mean? So like, but I feel like it's got to be a guard forward to have that go-to shot. And at that time, I was saying I think it's Emmitt Matthews, man. Off those first two games and the Big 12 tournament from your freshman year, I was like, this is the guy, man. So how did you feel early on in the season, man? Did you feel pretty confident about your game?
I felt like I was at I don't want to say I felt like I was at the peak of what I could be. I feel like shots were falling early for me in the beginning of the season, and that just goes to, you know, summer work and that summer grind of waking up early, you know, staying up late, just putting up a whole bunch of shots because, you know, you got all the time in the day to pretty much do whatever. So I'll just dedicate, you know, that beginning of the season, the way I played. I think my confidence was just at an all-time high. Shooting the ball, I don't know. I just felt like I haven't shot the ball. I didn't shoot the ball like that really ever in my life. I mean, when I was younger, I was a pretty good shooter. My parents always tell me so. In high school, I shot the ball, you know, decent. But, you know, when I got to college, my freshman year, I couldn't hit a lick. And then until probably, you know, when I actually started getting out there and playing towards the end of conference. But, you know, coming into my sophomore year, I just felt like, okay, it's time to step my game up to another level. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to win a title. But, you know, the way that everything happened, everything kind of just flew everywhere. But I just felt like I was riding the high horse, and, you know, I was having fun with it. And, you know, I don't really know what happened after that. I just, you know, everything kind of just went haywire. But, you know, in the beginning of the season, I just felt I was comfortable. And I think what that was for me was just being comfortable, being uncomfortable, you know, being in a situation where I'm so far from home, and, you know, I don't know when I'm going to be able to see my family or if they're going to be able to come out to watch me play, and, you know, all that kind of stuff going in your mind. You know, I learned how to find a balance in that and be able to try to play my best basketball and know that everybody's watching from back home and I'm getting that support.
Facts. Yeah, that support is a crazy thing, and it's really incredible when you can have it, but I feel like it, you know, makes you a little bit stronger when you got to fight through that just like you did. And, you know, and we started off the season super, super hot, like came out gunning. And I feel like, you know, the middle of the season, the team kind of hit like I guess you could call it like a roadblock. And then knowing, you know, what you all were capable of, what was like the toughest part about getting through that? And what were the conversations like in the locker room?
I'd say, for me, I think it was I think we all hit that wall. Obviously it's hard when you get a situation and everything's kind of just going haywire. You come in and we're riding the high horse, like I said, and we were winning, beating everybody, beat Ohio State. And I kind of think after that we just felt like we were better than we really were. We were obviously a great team. I think that there was times during the season where we played like the number one team in the nation. I think there was times where we played like the 101st team in the nation. And, I feel like we had so many guys and we were trying to figure out all these lineups and everybody was trying to figure out, okay, who could play together, who's doing this, who's doing that. And I think it took us probably until the end, until that Baylor game to really do that, and we eventually did learn how to do it. And I think if we would have went to the Big 12 tournament, I feel like we would have took home the trophy. And eventually, I think the Final Four was a big thing for us, and I think we had it. So,
just piggybacking off that, man. Baylor's in town, number 4 team. You guys just come off a nice win at Iowa State. You exploded for 18 points, and that was like the most rocking I've seen the Coliseum in a long time, to be honest with you. I don't know if you felt that way, but like it just felt different in there that day, and I think we had the same feeling of like this team's pulling together at the right time, and going into that Big 12 tournament and March Madness, we felt really strong about that too. Leaving the season on that high note, I mean, how does that feel, at least though, on that Baylor game and taking that victory?
It felt good. I had a pretty poor game the game before that. And, right after that game, I got back and I just dedicated the next days. Like, I refuse to let myself have a bad game. I refuse to let this team lose this game. Like, we worked so hard to get to this position, and we know that if we win this game, we're looking at a higher seed in the tournament versus us dropping to maybe a 6 or 7 seed. Now you're going to have to play a game that you don't know who it's going to be, and you can mess around and get a good team with that kind of seeding. And we knew that if, say, we go in and Baylor comes in here and we whoop on them, that there's a high chance that we could end up getting up into like a 4 or 3 seed, depending on how we played in the tournament. And I think that whole week we had our best practices of the year. Everybody was locked in. It was just, I don't know, we prepared so well. The scout was insane. Like, we knew everything that was going to happen. We knew where to keep guys off of and who we were guarding, what we knew, what plays they were going to run. I think it was just a preparation for that game versus all the other games was just so much better than every other one. I know we were all locked in more, from head coach to last man on the bench. We were just, everybody wanted it, and you could tell just from, we were down, I think it was 8-0 in the beginning. And it was obviously senior night, so I was on the bench, and I'm still up cheering we're down 8 points, and we don't have no points. And, I'm cheering for whatever shot we put up. I don't care. I want us to win that bad. And I think that was really it for us. I mean, we supported each other from thick and thin for that whole game, and we just wanted to win.
And, with, next year being such a big year with, all the guys you got returning and, some of the players coming in, you tweeted, expect March me all season. Do you feel like you have a chip on your shoulder, and do you feel like the team has a chip on their shoulder?
I feel like personally I have something to prove. I just feel like, personally the way things went for me and now knowing what to do and what not to do, and, going through those road bumps that I went through and that slump that I went through, I've never seen something like that before for myself. So, I feel like going into this season, it's not like I'm trying to prove somebody. I'm trying to prove myself. I'm trying to prove it to myself that, I'm me and I can do all the things that you guys have seen. I mean, the Baylor game, I feel like was just the tip of the iceberg for me. And I feel like once that iceberg once it goes into the water, it's going to be lights out. And, I feel like just this time right here is going to be a time where the dudes are going to sleep, or they're going to get up and they're going to grind it. And I know there's probably 50% of the dudes that we're going to play against aren't doing nothing right now. And I know that just because I'm an athlete, and I know that, after busting my tail off for 4 or 5 months, that I want to relax for a while. And, it's going to be the guys that choose this time to make the separation that are going to have good seasons going forward. And I think, our whole team is taking advantage of this time. we talk to the guys every Friday in a Zoom meeting with the coaches, and sometimes there's dudes in the gym working out while we're in the middle of the meeting. So it's just I think everybody on the team we all have that. We have something to prove, and we want to get Hugs that ring so bad that we want to eventually. He's getting kind of close to the end of his coaching career. Obviously, we know he's getting older, and we want to send him off with a ring. So hopefully we can do that for him, and that's just goal for us.
And with everything going on, man, I imagine you might be getting some shots up in the driveway, or maybe on the Herschel Walker push-up regimen. What are you doing right now, and what's some areas that you're looking to improve going into junior year?
I mean, obviously, strength is one thing that I want to get better each and every day. I feel like it's not hard for you to go do some push-ups in the front yard or in the living room, wherever. But I think for me personally, just getting a basketball and finding somewhere to play is probably the challenge. But there's courts everywhere. I'm fortunate enough to have a family friend down the street from the house who has a pretty nice tennis court, basketball court, hoop, whatever, right in the yard. So I'm able to go down there and put up shots. The weather's been pretty nice lately. It's raining today, so. But there's times where I can get into certain weight rooms and stuff like that. It's just hard with everything going on. You don't want to do nothing that's going to get you in trouble. So I just kind of try to stay out the way and do my own thing. My dad got a little barbell over there, so I might get on there and curl a little bit, but just trying to build my weight, make sure I'm eating. I went on a run the other day. Me and my brother went on a 4-mile run, and I woke up today, my legs were screaming. But just little things. You got to take what you can get. There's some people that are granted with having a full arena or whatever in their backyard, and then there's some dudes that don't even have nothing. So it's whatever you can take advantage of, and if you take advantage of it. So
facts. And with the new rule of players likeliness, you're allowed to profit off your image. Are you looking to do any streaming, or maybe do OnlyFans for your toes or something like that?
Hey, I don't know when it's gonna start, but if it does start, I don't know if they're looking towards starting it in the 2021 academic year, or if they're going to start it in 2020. Or 2021, just in general. So if January hits and we're doing, it's my dad right here.
Hey, shout out to OG. What's good?
Shout out to
OG.
All right, man. How y'all doing? Good?
Good, man.
Being safe out there?
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, trying to.
One day at a time. All right, man. That's right, man.
But, it all depends on when it starts. And, I feel like there's going to be so many different loopholes in it. You're going to have dudes that are making, close to $1 million at 18 years old coming in. If they don't change the rule for the one and done and make it to where guys can come out of high school, you got guys like Imani Bates and Mikey Williams are going to be millionaires driving Lamborghinis wherever they're at school. That's just the reality of it. Is I think that'll take away from the amateur status, and okay, now you take it away for college kids. Okay, now what can they do in high school? So say Imani Bates or Mikey Williams go to Duke. Okay, can they sign a contract with Nike? In high school, is there so much that goes into it? But I'll probably look into streaming or OnlyFans for my toes. Whatever. I mean, because at this point, it's just going to be whatever makes you money. And I saw there was a podcast the other day, and it was talking about how this is going to enable. You got boosters that own certain companies and brands that are at these schools. And okay, say you got for us for West Virginia, okay, you got Little General or something like that. So say we have a 5-star kid coming in, okay, the owner of Little General can be like, all right, if you sign here, I got a $50,000 deal for you to do 2 or 3 commercials or whatever. Kids aren't going to be like, no, they're going to be like $50K. Sign me up. Where is this at? So, you're going to have stuff like that. And I think, it's for the schools that already got caught doing it or that are about to get caught that are doing all this stuff that's going on, it's going to start a whole bunch of commotion. And kind of like I think when Louisville got caught in their scandal, I think it's just going to, people are going to start coming out and saying different stuff. Like there was a tweet the other day talking about Zion and
I saw that.
Yeah, stuff that his family was doing. So that's really only the beginning of it. You know, that's all that we know. You know, who knows what's going on down in the mid-major level or all the other levels.
I think it's the right step though, because I do think, like, with football, I've always said this. If players did get paid, I mean, obviously I'm all for it. I'm pro player, but I do think, like, where do you go as far as, like, is Will Greer, for example, when he was quarterback, is he making more than your second team defensive lineman or a reserve player on the girls' soccer team making compared to them? Does it go by how much money each team makes and brings in, you know? So I think there is a lot of, like, different questions on that, but I think like I like the likeliness thing, because if you want to stream and some kid wants to give you $10, or I want to give you $10, or someone you know what I mean? I think you should be able to do that. But like you said, it does open up a whole nother can of worms, and we might be seeing some. Hey, I think my guy Chase, man, if Bob Robinson and Wheeling, if they would give him a nice Cadillac to do a nice ad if it happened this year, man. Chase might take it, man. He might take it.
Definitely driving the Escalade around more.
Yeah, he might get it. Nah, that's my guy. I'm just messing around.
No, I also think too with it. I think, like you said, there's gonna be inequality issues. Say you got even dudes like Jordan McCabe. You take somebody like that, and then you take somebody from the rowing team that's a freshman just coming in. There's gonna be a huge difference in the money they're making. So I do wonder how that's if they're gonna try to balance it out and make it to where guys are only making a certain percent, or if they're just going to balance it out and make sure the athletes are all getting a certain amount, and then whatever you get on top of that is just a bonus. I don't know. There's so much that's going to go into it. I wonder if the stipends are going to go up.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's just so much.
I'm just thinking about that OnlyFans. Like, imagine someone be like, "Yeah, why couldn't they do an OnlyFans? Like, is that against the rules? Like, imagine that being like a rule. You cannot have an OnlyFans."
There will be no. I think there will be close to no violations, honestly, in recruiting at that point. You can say whatever. I mean, unless they might make it to where, okay, you can't tell a kid deals that he has coming in, but that's not going to be. Nobody's going to listen to that. People are going to do it anyway. So.
And I think a good thing, I saw what Coach Neil Brown, he did some sort of partnership with someone to help like players improve their brand too. Do you find like that might be a niche in itself, putting like a content creator with each team or something like that, just to help them build their own like fan base and everything?
I think that's going to be a bonus. I feel like every program at every school should look toward doing something like that, because I honestly feel like kids don't really understand what they're doing, and what they can post and what they can't post. Unless you have parents that understand social media. A lot of parents don't really understand social media now, and when you have kids that are coming into college or whatever, and they're from certain situations, they don't really care about what anybody else got to say. So I feel like just having somebody in their corner, or just having somebody meeting up with them like once a week with the whole team and just letting them know, like, hey, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. If you have these deals, you need to talk to so and so. And I feel like that's just gonna it'd be a bonus to every program, just to let kids know, it's gonna be a dog eat out here, and nobody knows what's gonna be going on. You're gonna have dudes that are jealous, and it's gonna be crazy. I don't really know what to think about it yet. I just know that my plan is to be making some money. So
run it up.
Run up the bag, man.
The Xbox.
That's right. We talk a lot of music on here, though. Let's shift it up a little bit. What's on Emmitt Matthews' current playlist? Right
now, I'd say the one song that I listen to at least 10 times a day is We Paid by Lil Baby and 42 Doug. I probably listen to that 10, 15 times a day, but I think Lil Baby's on top right now, honestly. And
he's not.
Him and Drake are kind of in their own right now with music, and some Young Thug. I listen to pretty much everything. There's if somebody comes up to me with a new artist and they're like, listen to this, and if it's a bop, then I'm gonna listen to it. But if it's some trash, I'll be like, get this off my head. That's what I'm listening to. I listen to everything. Like there's nobody that I don't listen to, I'd say. Other than I listen to pretty much everything, especially just being from out west. I get this I got the Bay Area style of music, and I got guys like Gabe and Jermaine who are from Canada, so I'm listening to Canadian rappers, and you got Oscar who's from way over there. He plays his music, and then it's just you got guys from everywhere, so you hear all kinds of music, and you start to fall in love with all the different kinds of music, and that's really what I'm at with it, honestly.
And see, me, I grew up listening to a whole bunch of stuff as well, but one thing I could never find myself getting into was country. And of course, I go to West Virginia University, and they're playing country all the time. Like, I kind of adapted to it, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel about country?
I know one country song, and it's Country Roads.
Country Roads, hey.
That was a great.
I know that, and I know Speechless. I think it's by Dan and Shay or something like that.
Dan and Shay, yeah.
I know those two, but when it comes to country, my aunt used to play country all the time, and as soon as she cut it on, I was time to ride my bike home. I can't do it, but I think everybody has their own ear, and everybody likes what they listen to. So the way some people feel about hip hop and rap is the same way some people feel about jazz and country and rock and roll. Like our weight coach loves heavy metal, so we'll be in the weight room listening to some like Rallo Rodriguez or something. And the next thing you know, you got Guns N' Angels. And you're like, oh my, So it is what it is. I mean, I never hate on nobody's music taste.
I love it. And then, after a long game, you're probably hungry. What's the best spot in Morgantown to get food after a W?
Oh, for a win?
Yeah.
Man.
Don't disappoint us here.
There are some really good places to eat in Morgantown. Personally, growing up, do you guys know what Albertsons is? So it's basically like a Safeway, Walmart, like basically a superfood store. And they used to make the best fried chicken. And whenever I order Sandwich U, tastes the exact same. And I just, that reminds me, every time I eat it, it reminds me of just sitting down on Sunday, eating food with my dad, watching football. So I think just eating that, it makes me feel like I'm at home. And I get it probably like 2 or 3 times a week. It's not the healthiest choice, but it'll
got a carbo load, man.
I love it. Sandwich U, I mean, there's a lot of Permani. I love Permani every time my family comes out. Other than that, the late night McDonald's, Wendy's runs, all that, I eat pretty much whatever. There's nothing I don't.
Come on, Muff, you got to drop it on, man. Tell him what should be his selection number one.
The number one selection in all of Morgantown has got to be Dirty Bird, man. Got to be.
This is a funny story.
It's closed every day, huh?
True. So there was a day I was sitting in my living room and I was like, I need some fried chicken or something. I need something to eat. And I put on Twitter, I was like, who makes the best fried chicken or something like that. I think somebody said Dirty Birds. I go on my maps and I type in Dirty Birds. It's closed. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. I'm not gonna look it up this time. I'm just gonna drive down and see if I can see it. If it's open. We get in the car. I'm driving down. Closed. I'm like, all right, never again. I'll never try it. Never gonna be open. I'll never even be able to get in there. So ever since then, I never gave it a chance. I don't think I ever will.
That's the key of it. Like if you're getting a haircut or you just happen to be downtown, you got to stop in midday because what they do is they get all their chicken fresh from the farmers market like every single day. When they run out, they close up shop. Sometimes they might close up 3 hours early. Sometimes they might close up at the exact time. But you got to catch them midday, man. It won't disappoint you.
Oh, I didn't know that's how it worked.
Yeah.
I just know Sandwich U be running to like, I don't even know time at night. Uber Eats,
hey.
1 a.m, mid 2K. I can't wait. Milkshake coming in, it's over.
Muff, you see what this guy's doing right here? He's already parlaying a Sandwich U sponsorship for next year. Sure, I ain't gonna get you in trouble. I ain't get him in trouble. Man. I think Muff, you got a couple other quick hitters for him, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, then speaking of brand, you got James Harden with the beard. So we got to ask you, man, what hairstyle we going with this upcoming season?
I don't know, man. I talk every day, trying to decide if I want to do this anymore. And I feel like it's, I talk to my mom and my dad all the time. I'm like, it's your look. And I'm like, I'm 20 years old. I'm trying to cut this off. Like, I don't want this no more. So, but I don't know. I might, people hated the braids, so I might go to like more of a Travis Scott box braid type of deal. And I twisted it up a few weeks ago, and I liked how it was going in there. But I don't think I'll ever wear rose ever again. People were just, the slander I was getting on Twitter was too much for me. I couldn't even go up there and type my name after the game. We lost to Kansas at Kansas. First tweet I saw, I didn't even go to the search bar and search my name. I opened my Twitter. It said, Emmitt Matthews' hair is the reason we lost the game. 53 tweets, 600 favorites. I'm like, come on now. Like, it's my hair. You can't blame the game. I was like, I wasn't playing that good before the game. So, I just wanted to try something new. And they ate me up. And it was funny because I would walk around campus. And it was after I took my hair out right after the Oklahoma State game. I get back and I go to Subway the next day and my hair is out and some lady sees me. She's like, oh my God, are you Emmitt Matthews? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, you got your hair back. I was like, anywhere. It was just some braids. She was like, don't ever do that again, please. I was like, bro, I can't even do my hair how I want to do it. It's crazy out here.
They're letting you have it, man.
No, they're going at me. But, it's all the fan love. And, they like my hair going all over the place. And, I think that'll be a signature for me going forward. But I might cut it off and regrow it sometime down the line. I don't know. I'm trying to get the beard like, oh, it ain't working for me.
Hey, you got to dedicated, man.
I'll be trying. Look, I got a little bit. That's it. That's all I could get. I can't grow no more.
Hey, that was
mine didn't even come
into.
Yeah, mine didn't come in really till probably really 6 months ago, and then fully in the past 4 months. So it's been a struggle.
He started doing some adventurous things, and you
put some beard oil on it too. Yeah.
You wild, though.
I'm playing.
Couple more quick hitters before you get off here, man. Funniest teammate.
So that's hard. You got Oscar. Oscar's goofy. When you think of I think we have combinations of guys that are hilarious. Okay, so you got Deuce and Oscar are hilarious because they just call each other son all the time. And Oscar got his accent, so Oscar's saying son is son. And, then you have Gabe and Taz, they're roommates. They're hilarious. But we got Smacky's up there. Smack Dog, I think Smacky's the funniest we have though. He'll do something sometimes and you'll just start dying and you can't take him nowhere without causing the scene. He's just the funniest guy to me.
If you got one, funniest Bob Huggins quote.
Oh man, there's a lot. He has this way he'll be talking about something and he'll be elaborating on a story that he had and he'll start talking and he'll give us a situation, but he won't tell us he's telling us a story. He'll just be giving us a situation. He'll be like, so say you have one guy here and you got another guy there doing something, blah, blah. He'll be like, well, I got the story. And then he'll tell the story for 30, 45 minutes. And you're like, come on now. I can't, I got all the time to watch the story, but
I got places to go.
I think there's a lot of stuff that he says is, he says the corniest jokes. So this is what we do. So me and Deuce and Taz, we got this thing. So I don't know if he's gonna see this podcast or not. I hope he doesn't. But so he'll tell a joke, right? And it'll be the worst joke ever. It's the worst joke. But he's the head coach, so you gotta laugh a little bit, So
yeah.
Me and Taz, he'll tell the joke and everybody will start laughing. Me and Deuce and Taz will be like, and then we'll just be looking at each other, and it's the funniest thing every time. I don't know if he thinks his jokes are funny. I be telling him all the time, that was a corny one, coach. And he'd be like, oh, was it really? And I'd be like, yeah, that was a bad one. He'd be like, all right. But his jokes is just, he's just the worst joke teller I've ever heard.
I can imagine you telling him that. He goes home, just sits in his chair this is how I'm going to get him next time. Just pulls out his notepad. It's like, okay, I'm going to come back with this.
He'll say one funny thing out of every 15. Out of every 15, he's maybe one of 15 every time.
That's my 3%, man. It is what it is,
It is what it is.
Last thing for you, Emmitt. We're gonna let you get off here, but every week, like I said, we talk a lot of hoops, we talk a lot of music, and we talk a lot of food. And usually we're in Muff's kitchen, but this week, man, and I can already see it in your background right now. We're technically with you right now. We're in Emmitt's kitchen, Muff. This is recipe of the week. You got a minute on the clock. What is Emmitt Matthews' recipe of the week for this week?
Man, are we keeping it simple or are we going complicated?
However you want to do it.
My mom got the best mac and cheese in the whole planet, and I think I know how to make it now. Dang. I got to tell the recipe.
You got
give it a little bit. Drop it in there.
All right.
Drop it.
So all right, she gets a pan, and first she boils the macaroni noodles, and she gets it all the macaroni noodles done. She puts them in a bowl, gets like some cream cheese, and I forget what the sauce is called. She mixes up the mac and cheese and the cream cheese and all that, pours it all into the pan. Boom. She gets all these cheese, just shredded cheese, cubes of cheese, throws it all over the top. You know what I'm talking about, that deep fried mac and cheese. Oh my. Throws it in the oven. I don't even know how long she put in the oven for because the noodle was already hot. So right when the cheese start melting, cheese is melt crispy, got that little crunch on it. Take it out of the oven. My dad done made some ribs already. I don't know how to make those yet. He got to teach me. But order fried chicken. My mom used the Johnny's though for the fried chicken. I can't find Johnny's no more in West Virginia. But take it out the oven, wrap it up for a little bit. As soon as it cooled down, first bite a little crunchy on the cheese part. That's it for me right there. Order a little. But if I need a quick meal, the quick hitter always is the grilled cheese with ham on it every time.
Okay, that's OG.
That's it for me every time.
Now I want some mac and cheese with the crispy edges.
Muff, did he pass?
Oh, 100% pass. We might have to try it out, man.
Oh no, I'm gonna whip some up when I get back out to Morgantown. Y'all pull up. I'll get it.
All right, bet.
Nah, I got y'all.
No, that's awesome, man.
We got the mac and cheese from Mom. We got the Dirty Bird. We're gonna get that for you, and we'll make it work, man.
No, I'm definitely going to tap in with the Dirty Bird when I get back.
Facts. Nah, man, like I said, we definitely appreciate you coming on, man, taking time out your day. Anything that you want to plug, like your social media, anything you got upcoming, like go ahead and drop that for them now. I
don't really got nothing upcoming. I mean, my Instagram, PBGDo. That's really all I got. Add me on Xbox, the Dooski, THE space DOOSKIE. You want to get dropped off on 2K. That's all I got. But I appreciate y'all having me on here. Whenever y'all need me on here or want me to be back on here, I'll gladly get on.
Sounds good, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, good luck this upcoming season too, man. We'll be rooting.
Take that.